Welcome to the BrainX channel. In this video, we are going to work through two examples where we practice changing numbers to prime bases and then using exponent laws to simplify. If you've missed the introduction video on this topic, I highly recommend watching it first, especially if you want to learn this topic from scratch. You can find the link on the card in the top right corner or in the description below. Let's dive into the examples. Okay, for example 1 in this video, we have to simplify this algebraic fraction fully. Always remember to write it down for yourself when you're in a test or exam so that you have something to work from. Now, let's have a look at this expression. We need to simplify it, but at the moment, it's not ready for the exponent laws yet. And why do I say that? Because the bases do not match. We have a 64, we have a 2, and we have an 8. So right now, I cannot multiply or divide because the bases aren't the same. I also cannot use the power of a power law on the 64 or the 8 yet because they are not written as powers. So our first job is to prepare this expression. And to do that, we rewrite the numbers that are not prime using prime bases. And in this example, the 64 and the 8 are not prime numbers. And once these numbers are written using prime bases, we can see which bases are the same and which bases are different. And then we know which exponent laws we can apply. So first up, I know that we are still dealing with a fraction, so I'm going to draw my fraction line. I'm going to start with this 64, which is in the numerator. Now, 64 is the first number that we are going to break down using prime bases. If you are allowed to use your calculator in your exam or test, then you can follow these steps on the screen to find your prime factors. If you're not allowed to use a calculator, let's find the prime factors for 64. To start, you can ask yourself which two numbers multiplied give 64. One option is 8 multiplied by 8. Now, 8 is not a prime number either, but this one is one of those important conversions I talked about in the previous video, where you should recognize that 8 can also be rewritten as 2 to the power of 3. So I can replace this 8 with 2 to the power of 3 as well. Now I'm dealing with multiplication. My bases are the same, so I can add my exponents. That means I keep my base, add the exponents. 3 plus 3 is 6. So that means I can write 64 as 2 to the power of 6. But now something very important that you must remember. This exponent here, this x minus 1, applies to this whole 64 here. So what you're going to do is to write this 2 to the power of 6 in brackets, because this 2 to the power of 6 is equal to that 64. And then this bracket shows that this whole exponent applies to whatever is inside this bracket. And this bracket is equal to 64. Okay, next up, we're going to deal with the denominator. The first factor in this denominator is 2 to the power of 5x. Now, 2 is a prime number. That means I can leave it as is. So I'm just going to write 2 to the power of 5x. I cannot do anything to it at this moment. Now, let's have a look at the 8. 8 is not a prime number, so I need to break it down into its prime factors and rewrite it using a prime base. 8 is one of those important conversions. You should know by now that 8 can be rewritten as 2 to the power of 3. Remember, it's 2 times 2 gives me 4, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. And that's where I get this 2 to the power of 3 from. That means I can rewrite this 8 as 2 to the power of 3. And now again, write it in brackets, even though there's not another exponent here, just so that you can get into the habit that that is one package. It means one thing. Now everything is written with the same prime base, which is 2, here, here, and here. Now that means because the bases are the same, we can simplify using our exponent laws. And because I know that we are still dealing with a fraction, I'm going to draw my fraction line, and let's have a look at the numerator. Now, the law that we are going to use in a numerator is the law that says if we have a power raised to another power, then we must keep the base and then we multiply the exponents. Okay, so keep this law in mind when we deal with this numerator. So here I've got a base with a power or exponent that is raised to another power. So I'm going to apply this law. I write my base, and now let's multiply. It is 6 multiplied by x minus 1. So I have to distribute this 6 into the bracket, and that will give me 6x, positive 6 times negative 1 gives me negative 6. So I know that the exponent is 6x minus 6. There's nothing else in the numerator that I can simplify, so let's move to the denominator. Now, looking at the denominator, the only law that I can see we're going to use is when we are multiplying and my bases are the same, then we keep the base and we add the exponents. Okay, so let's do it for this one. I can see I'm multiplying. The bases are the same, 2 and 2. So I keep my base and let's add the exponents, 5x plus 3. Now the only thing left to do to simplify this fraction is to divide the numerator by the denominator. Let's have a look at what the exponent law says. If I'm dividing and my bases are the same, then I keep the base and I subtract the exponents. I'm dividing, my bases are the same, it's 2 and 2. So what must I do? Yes, I must keep my base and then I subtract my exponents. So it is 6x minus 6, and then I subtract the bottom exponent from this one, minus, and now it's very important to write a bracket, 5x plus 3. That is very important, especially if you are subtracting. Now let's get rid of the bracket. I've got 2, 6x minus 6. Now, negative times a positive gives me negative 5x. Negative times a positive gives me negative 3. Now we have to combine the like terms. So it's that one and that one's going to be like terms, and this one and this one. Okay, so again, I keep my base. Now 6x minus 5x gives us x. And negative 6, take away another 3, that gives us negative 9. And there is the final answer. This brings us to the last example for this video, where we have to simplify this algebraic fraction fully. Let's look at this expression. At the moment, it's not fully ready for the exponent laws yet. And why do I say so? Because the bases do not look the same. We have a 25, an 8, a 5, and a 2. So before we can apply the exponent laws properly, we need to rewrite the numbers that are not prime using prime bases. And in this example, the 25 and the 8 are not prime numbers. So we need to break them down into their prime factors and rewrite them using prime bases. Now, 25 is one of those important conversions I talked about in the previous video, which means 25 can be rewritten as 5 squared. Now, if you didn't know that, you can either use your calculator if you are allowed to, or I'm going to show you how to work out your prime factors. For 25, you can ask yourself which two numbers multiply will give you 25. And the answer is 5 times 5. Now, 5 is a prime number, which means I can't break it down any further. So I know that the prime factors for 25 are 5 and 5. And we've got two 5s. That means we can write it as 5 squared. So I know I can rewrite this 25 as 5 squared. Now, it's very important to write it in brackets, because this a here, which is the exponent of 25, applies to this whole 25. And this a that I'm going to write outside the bracket applies to that whole bracket that we've written down here. And this bracket is equal to 25. Now let's have a look at the 8. 8 is also one of those important conversions. I can write it as 2 cubed. And if you didn't know it, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so I can rewrite 8 as 2 cubed, and then again the brackets to show that the exponent a minus 1 has to be applied to this whole bracket, which is 2 cubed. Now let's have a look at the denominator. In this denominator, I only have prime bases. So all I'm going to do now is just to rewrite this whole denominator. Have a look at what we've done so far. We have rewritten every factor as a prime base. That means I can now apply my exponent laws to actually start to simplify this fraction. And now let's start to simplify the numerator. In the numerator, we have these two factors. So let's see which exponent laws we can apply to simplify the numerator as much as possible. One of the exponent laws says, if we have a base with an exponent or a power, and it is raised to another power, then we keep the base and we can multiply the exponents. So let's see how this law works in the numerator. In this first factor that we have here, I have a base with an exponent and it is raised to another exponent or to another power. That means I keep my base and I multiply my exponents. 2 times a gives me 2a. Okay, now let's have a look at the next one. I've got a base with an exponent or a power, and it is raised to another power. That means I keep my base and then I multiply my exponents. It's going to be 3 times by a minus 1, and that will give me 3a minus 3. Okay, so now I know that the exponent for this 2 is 3a minus 3. Now looking at this denominator, I don't have same basis, so I can't multiply, and there are no brackets. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite the denominator as is. Now looking at the numerator and the denominator, I've simplified this as much as possible. So the only thing left for me to do is to divide. So here I'm going to use the exponent law that says, if I'm dividing and my bases are the same, then I keep my base and I subtract my exponents. So let's see how this law works when we are dividing. I'm going to draw my fraction line, and I'm going to keep the fraction line, and I'm going to show you why as we go along. I've got this factor with the base 5 and this factor with base 5, so the bases are the same. I keep my base and I subtract the exponents. So it is 2a minus, and now it's very important to write the brackets, 2a minus 1. Okay? So now after I've simplified these 5s, we are left with a 5 in the numerator and nothing from the 5s in the denominator. So I'm going to write 1 in the denominator, because 5 over 1 is the same as just writing 5. You might ask me, why am I keeping this fraction line? But I will show you as we go along. Okay, now let's move on to the 2's. I'm dividing the 2's. The bases are the same, so I keep my base. And now let's subtract the exponents. We've got 3a minus 3. And let's do the brackets again, even though we only add one term into the bracket. Now again, after I've simplified the 2's, I've got a 2 left in the numerator and nothing in the denominator. So I just write the 1 in the denominator, because 2 over 1 is the same as writing 2. Let's remove these brackets by distributing the negative sign into the brackets. So I'm going to write 5 and then to the power of 2a, and then negative times positive gives us negative 2a. Negative times a negative gives us a positive. Multiplied by, I keep my base, and now let's distribute again, 3a minus 3, and then negative times positive is negative 3a. I'm just going to write it over 1. 1 times 1 gives me 1. Okay, now while we add it, let's quickly check for like terms. I've got an a and an a. They are like terms, and here a and a are like terms. So what we're going to do now is we're going to combine the like terms. Okay, so I'm going to write my 5, and let's combine the like terms. So 2a minus 2a, it's 0, so that's done. And we are left with 5 to the power of 1 multiplied by, now let's have a look at the 2, and now 3a minus 3a, okay, it's 0. So I'm left with negative 3 over 1. Okay, now we are not allowed to have a negative exponent in my answer. That means I need to change this negative 3 to a positive 3. And we do that by moving this factor downstairs. Okay, so I'm going to write my equal sign. So this 5 to the power of 1 is positive, so I leave it at the top. I'm not going to write the 1 exponent anymore. It's not necessary. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 2 downstairs, and I change my exponent to positive. And now the last thing that we need to do is to change this to an ordinary number. And 2 to the power of 3, or 2 cubed, is equal to 8. And that is the final answer. Just a quick note. You don't have to write the fraction line. You can do all this without this fraction line, just like that. And here without that, also without the fraction line. You must just know that when you move this down, that you have to create a fraction line, like we did over here. Doesn't matter if you do it with or without the fraction line. Sometimes it just makes it easier to see what stays at the top and what must go down.